Bob, welcome to the show, and how are you today?
Well, thank you, and I'm fine.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, knowing that each week we get you is a gift, and to have you come back and rejoin us and help our listeners kind of sort fact from fiction. You hang around this process long enough, and you kind of you start to predict these things, but still, nevertheless, it's always good to have a master around to kind of make sure we're all in the right direction. This has been, as always, an interesting week, and I guess the place to start is to observe what, to my mind, looks to be a little bit of a basing and some sideways movement in the price of gold and silver, which might actually be good to kind of put down the froth. And with all the mainstream media, bad-mouthing it and doing all the rest of it, it has the advantage of creating the wall of worry to be a little bit steeper. So what's your take on where the metals are at this point, just to start off?
Well, the more the media attacks, the better it is. Because any damage that they could do has already been done. And each time they're unsuccessful, which is most of the time, on an interim basis, that puts them in a more difficult position the next time around. We've seen basing out by both gold and silver. In gold we had a trend line broken, and on a technical basis, and gold came right back through the trend line, and that is extremely technically strong. In silver, we had two tests of 33, which held in very nicely, and today proved to be an important day. Because what happened was that the Hong Kong Mercantile Exchange opened today trading the 1 kilo gold contract. And gold traded up, I would say, around $10 to $12, $13 from 11 p.m. Eastern last night until the opening this morning. And silver was trading up $1.10. And it continued to hold its own and go a little higher during the course of the day. Gold closed up at $15.80 to $14.95.60, as June rose $13.70 to $14.9370. Spot silver rose $1.61 to $35.09 in July, rose $1.58 to $35.08, and both of them are in backwardation. And what that means is that the spot month is selling at a higher price than the outside month, which in the case of gold is June, in the case of silver is July. And that's important because that means that people are closing out contracts and demanding delivery. And in order to get delivery, the players have to increase the spot price.
That's right.
Over the outside price. And so I don't normally go into all these figures, but in this case it's important because we have based out. Mm-hmm. And yes, we look at the figures in the COT and regarding silver, and they're relatively unchanged. And that is surprising. But if you know what JPM and HSBC are doing, They're using derivatives, not futures, to try to keep the market from going up, and they were instrumental on it coming down. When the market in silver broke out over 30, the professional traders, called the commercials, they were both long and short. They covered their shorts as quickly as they could, and that's what really slingshotted the price of silver. And then when it got up at somewhere between, say, 42 and 50, they started selling their longs. So when silver came back down to 33, they were flat, more or less. There might have been some short, but it doesn't show up in the futures. So the buying in part that you see here in this 32.5 to 35 range is mostly professional. And it's setting up for a move in silver to 42, probably back and fill a little on profit taking. And then it'll launch towards the recent high and the old high of around 49.5, and I think it'll break it next time. So I think that is what we've got going on in gold and silver. I also know from the head of one of the exchanges, and I can't tell you which one, that the SEC, CFTC, NYSE, ASE, and NASDAQ had been, up until about a week ago, for about 2 or 3 weeks, been receiving about 1,000 complaints a day on market manipulation by the U.S. government and naked short selling. And now they're receiving 3,000 a week, 3,000 a day, which is going to have the government upside down. And the reason why is that they don't care. They're not going to do much about it. But the important part is that they know we know what they're doing in large numbers. And so I think that you're going to see trepidation on their part, because these complaints keep on coming in. They're coming in from all over the world, incidentally.
Mm-hmm.
It's also going to force business into the Hong Kong market in gold, and shortly they'll be doing silver as well. And I think there's an excellent possibility that Hong Kong Mercantile can take about 30% of the business that COMEX has away from them, because players are sick and tired of the rigging and all of the crap that goes on. You know, the CME, which controls the COMEX, both of which are controlled by the U.S. government, no matter what anybody thinks. And they raise margin requirements 5 times in 9 days. Unheard of. And that took the margin from 9,500, had been 4,500, they moved it up over the previous few weeks. 9,500 to 21,600. And miraculously, simultaneously, all of the big brokerage commodity houses doubled that margin from 21,600 to 42,000.
Oh, but a coincidence.
Now
what
happened?
Not.
What happened in that was that they drove out all of the speculators, because they couldn't come up with the money to continue to operate their positions. And the middle-sized investors, too, were taken out. At the same time, Hong Kong says they're going to lower their margins. So we have something very interesting going on here. And so I think usually during the summer people talk about gold and silver being in the doldrums. I don't think that's going to happen this year. We're going to go test the old highs in silver and gold probably over the next month or so. And if it doesn't break out then, it will in September. If it breaks out, all to the good. But that's where we're headed with this thing. The government cannot contain it. Every pro knows what's going on. And
I think
we get lots and lots of upside ahead.
Yeah, the question I have for you, Bob, is how trustworthy, in your view, are the commitment of traders numbers, one? And two, how representative are they? Because they don't, if I understand them correctly, they really don't reflect the use of derivatives, do they?
Not at all. So they're misleading nowadays. You can tell something from them, but then again, you can't find anything if you don't know what's going on. I have a letter here that one of the subscribers sent me. See if I can find it here. Well, let's go on, and I'll.
Yeah, see if it's the letter. I think
it exemplifies what the attitude of the Securities Exchange Commission is.
Was that the one about where the guy said, he got the letter back saying you all need to prove to us that this is going on? No, you work for us.
Right, you heard that on another program.
I heard that on.
Here it is here.
Yeah, people need to hear this. This is absolutely priceless.
The SEC speaking. Thank you for contacting the SEC regarding J.P. Morgan. Before we are able to respond to your email, we need more information from you, including your supporting documentation that J.P. Morgan is making illegal naked short sales and is manipulating the gold and silver markets. And I cleaned up the writing, but the writing was on a 10th grade level. And this is from Miss Carrie McGovern, Investor Assistance Specialist, whatever that is. So, we go on to the answer from my subscriber.
Back to the SEC.
Yeah, back to the SEC. It is my feeling, because of the large naked short position that JPM and HSBC have, that they were in part responsible for the action of the CME COMEX and the simultaneous conclusion by a number of major commodity houses to double the CME margin requirements to their clients. It is not my place to provide supporting documentation. That is your job. Why do you think I'm writing to you? Investigate and come up with some answers. Don't defer them to me. You are not supposed to be. Are you not supposed to be protecting me as a regulator? I await your answer. This shows you how arrogant they are.
And
totally and thoroughly arrogant.
Let me give you another.
Because they've been caught.
Yeah.